Are you listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any other platform where you can leave a rate or review? Do you like what we're doing? If the answer to all of that is yes, please consider quickly giving us a 5-star rate. And if you wouldn't mind leaving us a nice review, we greatly appreciate that as well. Okay, let's do this.
Hello, welcome to the Ghosts of Harrenhal. My name's Simon.
And I'm Mackelly.
Thank you for joining us for the final episode, 344, of our chapter-by-chapter book review of A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. Today, we're discussing the epilogue of A Dance for Dragons. Of course, it's only final if he never writes the other books. But,
Yes.
For now, the final.
All right. Good clarification. And as always, we're going to chat about the chapter and try not to spoil any future plot points for you. Not that there are future plot points to spoil at this point. Unless you have a Buy Me a Coffee Sustainer tier that includes spoilers. Well, then we are going to spoil things for you. Regardless, though, hopefully we'll provide you some entertainment along the way.
I've begun to see our random guesswork as spoilers, honestly. I think,
right.
Pretty much we're writing the books at this point.
Uh-huh.
We'll summarise what happened, discuss our thoughts on it, provide some useful background, compare it to the television show, indulge in a little pedantry, and cover some relevant news and listener correspondence. Be sure to check out the show notes. They'll provide some additional information about the characters and geography of this chapter. How are you, Mackelly?
Well, I'm a mix of emotion.
I knew you would be. I am too, just to be clear. Yeah. I'm not a monster.
Temperature-wise, though, we had a break from the heat the past couple of days, right? And
it's been
nice.
A lot better. Yeah.
Friday we hit 102 Fahrenheit. Saturday was 101. Sunday was 100. So, if your AC is going to go out,
that would be when it would go out.
It's going to go out at 5:00 on Friday.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Is exactly when my AC decided to go out. So I called my guy. He's a great guy, a guy named Danny. And he said he could get to me Monday afternoon. So we had to camp out. We slept in the living room.
I was going to say, I'm amazed you're not here right now, honestly.
We slept in the living room. Stacy took the couch. The dog and I took the air mattress. So luckily, we have 3 floors and we have 3 units. And it was the second story unit. We have the basement, first, and the second floor.
I see.
The second story unit went out.
Where the bedrooms are is where it was
yes.
out. So you were okay. Well.
So and hot air rises. So even though it was weird, it was like there were pockets. If you were standing near a vent on the first floor, it was nice and cold because it's running nonstop, the AC on the first floor.
Desperately trying to keep the temperature down. Yeah.
Yes. If you were in other places in the first floor, it was really hot. So you had these pockets of hot and cold. Yeah. So,
well, that's miserable.
But speaking of things that were hot on the ice, congratulations are in order. Well, it's almost like we've got a Song of Ice and Fire situation going on here because your Carolina Hurricanes were on fire on the ice. Congratulations to you and Canes Nation.
Yeah, they won the Stanley Cup in excellent fashion. I mean, like after a genuinely dramatic beginning, like the first 4 games of the Stanley Cup final were genuinely dramatic, and then the 5th and 6th game were not dramatic at all. They were kind of pedestrian, and the first 4 games flattered you into thinking that it was. I mean, seriously, I thought Vegas were going to win at various points, and then the 5th and 6th games were like, no, this is what I always believed. The Carolina are the better team, and man, they turned up and they won.
Sure did.
And Jordan Staal is almost. I mean, I think of Jordan Staal's career between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Carolina Hurricanes as almost the length of this podcast, to be honest. When we started, he was a Penguin. And now his career is bookended. So he won the Stanley Cup for the second time, 17 years apart, which is an amazing start, really.
It really is. He was the, I think, 2006 first-round draft pick by the Penguins, which means in a 3-year stretch, they went Evgeny Malkin in the first round, future Hall of Famer, Sidney Crosby, arguably one of the greatest players in NHL history, and Jordan Staal, who's now a Conn Smythe winner. All 3 Conn Smythe winners, Crosby twice, And
yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if Jordan Stahl has a shot at the Hall of Fame. I mean, it feels he's not a Malkin or a Crosby, but to win it with two different teams, to win the Conn Smythe, it's
yeah, certainly. Yeah, I saw a video of Rod Brindamore, the Canes head coach, rip his shirt off and holding the Stanley Cup above his head, and I thought, there's Ethan's buddy. Ethan's old hockey buddy, Rod Brindamore.
I was listening to a podcast the other day. It was saying that Rod Brindamore kind of like hinted after the final that he might be done, that he might sort of retire, and they were saying, would he go to another team? And they were like, oh no, this guy definitely won't go and coach another NHL team. What he'll do if he retires from the Hurricanes is coach an amateur team in Carolina, because there's no way he's going to just walk away from hockey. He'll want to do something.
Yeah, he'll call Ethan up and say, hey, want to come on back? You almost took out those guys I was evaluating, if I recall.
And by the way, Rod, I mean, his nickname is the Bod. He still has it. Good God Almighty.
He was pretty ripped. I mean, amazingly ripped for a guy of our age.
Of our age, yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really thrilling. The other one I really liked, I don't know if you saw Jordan Stahl's daughter asking him a question at the press conference.
I did not.
So he was up at the front of the press conference with all his kids, and when he was sort of getting up to leave the press conference, and the eldest daughter dragged the mic over and she said, I've got a question. She said, going back to the first game of the first series, why did you punch that
guy? Violence is never the answer, sweetie.
And you could hear the press corps all burst out laughing, and he's shuffling the kids out of the door. Like, answer that.
That's good.
So
yeah,
this is it. I mean, what a ride!
You're on a roll. You're because you're athletic. Had been promoted last season. They stayed in the league.
They did stay in the league quite comfortably. They didn't even scare me mostly.
Yeah, and your Carolina Hurricanes are Stanley Cup champions. That's it's pretty good stuff. Yeah, meanwhile,
and it was you know what, I didn't realize how much I cared, but I mean, I could not sleep on the nights of the games. I mean, win or lose, I was absolutely wired.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I
was really enjoying the series, and on some levels I wanted it to go to 7, but I couldn't be more relieved that it finished in 6 games, because I don't think I could have stood that 7th game. I was a mess. I don't know if you noticed, but so the Canes had their young backup goalie in goal, and they kept on showing his family in the crowd. And it's just like, being the parents of a young goalie in the Stanley Cup final. I mean, they can't.
Did they start out as like fairly young looking fresh people, and by the end, like the guy was bald and the woman was gray haired?
As soon as the buzzer sounded, the dad just burst into tears.
Oh my gosh. I can imagine. I absolutely can imagine.
So,
well, I guess.
Well, you know what? We could go on and on about how, emotional we both are about all this, but this is the longest chapter in all the books combined. It's absolutely enormous. I couldn't believe. I was just writing the summary. I was like, we're going to be here all night. You edit the first half, and I'll edit the second half.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a long one and packed with content.
It's a good one too. All right, well, let's get down to business then. We'll get emotional again before we're finished. How do we leave Kevan Lannister? Because the epilogue is about Kevan Lannister, although he doesn't get his name checked. But remember, Mackelly's maxim number 3: don't be the epilogue POV.
Look out! If you see your name as the primary name in the epilogue POV, you better start looking over your shoulder.
All right. Last time we saw Kevan, he was welcoming a naked and humiliated niece, Cersei, back into the Red Keep. He had assumed the regency and intends to send Cersei back to Casterly Rock after her trial by combat is over, presuming she wins, because if she loses, there's real trouble, because A, her life would be forfeit, and B, that would mean that there's some question marks over the parentage of Tommen Baratheon, King of the Realm.
It just might. Just might.
Mackelly, for one final time, why don't we give the summary of this one?
Okay. I'll try to hold it together here.
Yeah, I know you're going to cry more than me because
Yeah, that's just
you're a big softie and I'm not.
yeah, that's just the way that it is between us. All right, so Sir Ronnet Connington declares his loyalty to King Tommen Baratheon in front of the small council in King's Landing. It's snowing, and the Night of Griffin's Roost is dripping on the floor. Kevan Lannister is unconvinced. Sir Ronnet offers to go and bring the head of his uncle and this fake dragon to prove himself. The small council is strained, half Lannister, half Tyrell. The guards are in crimson on one side, green on the other. Neither queen is present, but their animosity still adds to the chill. The Hand, Mace Tyrell, decrees that Sir Ronnet will remain in King's Landing until the Tyrells march on this pretender. Then Ronnet will have the chance to show his loyalty.
Ronnet Connington is sent away. He's brought 20 men with him, formerly Gregor Clegane's men. Randall Tarley thinks they should all be sent to the Wall. Mace Tyrell agrees. Kevan Lannister notes that these would be Westernmen being banished. The Tyrells have no interest in balance. He argues that they may need every sword to defeat Aegon and the Golden Company. Word is that Jon Connington moves on Storm's End. Mace Tyrell thinks they should let him. He either loses or wins. Either way, once Margaery's innocence is proven, he, Mace, will return to recapture it from whichever pretender holds it.
Recapture it. You got to capture it first to recapture it.
Well, that is what Kevan thought at that point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mace wants Tommen to declare Margaery innocent and drop all charges. Kevan points out that the High Septon has insisted on a trial. Charlie doesn't understand why they bow to the faith, and Kevan points out how beset they are. In the north, Stannis. In the west, Ironmen. In the south, Sellswords. The last thing they need is a civil war in King's Landing. The pious would find a usurper more to their taste. Mace discounts Jon Connington, rash and oft a loser. Kevan remembers him as a headstrong friend of Rhaegar, named a hand too young, as was proven at the Battle of the Bells. Kevan had expected Harys to turn back to Tywin at that point, but the Mad King chose lesser men and lost his throne and his life.
They discuss this fake Aegon. Kevan Lannister saw the dead children. It was clearly Rhaenys, but baby Aegon was mutilated beyond any recognition. Nobody could look for very long, so he cannot discount the possibility that it was a fake. There's also news of an undoubted Targaryen in the east, Daenerys, and the stories keep mentioning 3 dragons. She shares her blood with Aegon the Conqueror and won't be content with Slaver's Bay. They must deal with this Aegon before she gets here. Mace Tyrell says he will, after the trials. Pycelle suggests buying off the Golden Company, but Harys Swyft, Master of Coin, points to the empty coffers.
We'll be right back.
Hello, friends. Are you ready to make some unforgettable memories? Well, if so, consider the Marriott Bonvoy program. Discover the perfect destination for your summer getaway and unlock exclusive deals on luxurious accommodations. With our affiliate partnership, you'll enjoy unbeatable savings and a seamless booking experience. Don't let summer slip away. Visit Marriott Bonvoy today and make this vacation season one for the books. Use our Ghosts of Harrenhal affiliate page to check it all out and buy Bonvoy points or give some as a gift. The link to our page is in the show notes. He, Swyft, is pursuing loans from other Esossi cities to pay off the Iron Bank. But no luck yet. Swyft repeatedly points out that he didn't create this mess. Next subject is the trials. Cersei has chosen Robert Strong as her champion. Everyone's uneasy about the Silent Giant. Kevan reminds all at the table that should Cersei lose, then Tommen would lose his throne and Margaery would too. He promises that Cersei will be banished to Casterly Rock after the trial, so Margaery and the Tyrells won't have to interact with their accuser.
The Rosby inheritance is tabled for now. Plans for Myrcella's return considered. Mace Tyrell thinks there must be a better match than Tristan Martell, but Kevan doesn't want to offend Dawn at this point. They wrap things up. Mace Tyrell says a prayer to the warrior to give Robert Strong strength. It's grudging, but it helps. Pycelle bleats that Mace Tyrell hates him for speaking of Margaery and the Moon Tea, but that he was commanded to do so. Kevan thinks about the small council and how it stands at 3-3 between Tyrells and Lannister, and Nymeria Sand comes to take the 7th place. He's not mentioned this to Mace Tyrell yet. Kevan finds himself missing Littlefinger.
And that's saying something if you miss Littlefinger. Next appointment is supper with Cersei and the king. He thinks of young Cersei and how she would have made a perfect bride for Rhaegar. He'd never have looked at Lyanna Stark. He feels some guilt about Cersei's walk of atonement, but compares it to Tywin's handling of their father's last mistress. Cersei needed to be brought down. She was ruining everything, including Tommen, as she had Joffrey. He goes to Cersei's chambers. She's attended by young novices who are rotated so they can't be corrupted and overseen by a septa. She asks if Tyanna Merryweather can be brought back to court. Her son and Tommen are of an age. Kevan agrees. Supper is good. Tommen is sweet, babbling about his kittens.
Kevan has never seen Cersei so subdued, but though it makes him sad, it is what he wanted. There is no news of Jaime, and Kevan thinks that she ought to prepare for bad news, but she's convinced that she would know if her twin was dead. Also, no news of Tyrion. Tommen is sent to bed, and the two adults talk about the trial. The Kettle Blacks have been arrested for fornicating with the Queen. He hopes that she remembers that part of her story. They are interrupted by a messenger from Pycelle. The regent is required. He takes his leave.
He makes his way to Pycelle's rooms beneath the rookery. On entering, he sees an open window with snow flurrying and a white raven on the sill. The white ravens herald the change of season, if the snow hadn't already tipped you off.
That was our joke, listeners, not George Martin. They're great prognosticators, those guys at the Citadel. They're like, well, you know what? Well, see all this snow around? I think it's time to send out the White Ravens. Yeah, let's do it.
The snow's a foot deep. We better get the ravens out. Kevan turns from the window and is hit in the chest by a crossbow bolt. He slumps to the window seat and sees that Pycelle is dead at his desk. Varys steps out and begs forgiveness. Kevan was threatening to reconcile Highgarden to Casterly Rock, to bind the faith to Tommen and unite the Seven Kingdoms. But this way, Cersei will blame the Tyrells. The Tyrells will suspect Cersei. Someone always blames Dorne. Doubt and division are needed while Aegon gathers his strength.
Aegon? Kevan is incredulous. He's dead. Not so, explains Varys, and goes on to explain how suited the boy is to the role. How after his rescue from King's Landing, he's been trained night and day in all things to make him the perfect king. Tommen only understands birthright. Aegon understands that ruling is a duty. Blood bubbles on Kevan's lips. Varys says it's time to end this, and several children emerge from the shadows with daggers in their hands.
Wow.
I will say, we were just a little bit tone deaf, riffing and joking.
I know.
Just before Kevan got it in the chest.
That's why I paused for a second to try and bring this mood a little more somber. Before
that half second will have cleared the palate, yeah.
Oh,
we're so funny about Winter and the Raven. And then Kevan got it.
And not only Kevan, this was a 2-for-1 deal.
Yes,
Grand Maester Pycelle catching strays.
Amazing.
I imagine he's like, this is only supposed to be the POV in the epilogue, not me. So, yeah, he didn't see that one coming, I guess.
Yeah.
But this epilogue was so different from the previous prologues and epilogues. All the other ones were like
a tangential character.
Yes.
Yes.
They were like one-off stories, isolated, indirectly related to the main story. Will ranging in the first Game of Thrones prologue, and we were introduced to the White Walkers. Crescent trying to kill Melisandre and then actually poisoning himself. Chet plotting
Craven
to kill
insurrection, as we remember.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Merritt trying to ransom his nephew Peter Pimple, hanged by Lady Stoneheart. Pate dreaming of running off with Rosie.
Pate.
And then,
I forgot about Pate.
Right. He sells the key to the alchemist and dies, or so we thought. But then he pops up at the end in the Sam Tarly chapter when Sam arrived at the Citadel.
Yeah, they're all such isolated branches.
Yeah.
And then here we
Varamir
are
was the
on
final.
the main
Varamir,
trunk of the story.
yeah, right. Varamir Sixskins was the prologue of this book.
Oh, yeah.
He was so one-off. He died and then warged in. He died and then went into his warged wolf. So, yeah, this is a real chapter, pulling in news from all over the known world with a pseudo major character as a POV. He is different than Crescent or Chet or Merritt. Yeah.
But definitely a major character. I mean, he's the King Regent of the Seven Kingdoms. I mean, that's a serious death right there.
Yes. Yeah, we haven't had a death that big on the small council since, well, Robert, Ned, Jon Arryn, Joffrey. Yes. Yeah, I guess there's
pretty much a poison chalice just being on the small council.
Yeah, but he's in that mix, right? He's in that lofty company.
Yeah.
So
Tywin, I mean, you know,
he was Hand. Yeah, I totally forgot about
taken
Tywin.
over from Tywin as the grown-up Lannister on the small council.
Right. Yeah.
It's so momentous. Let's do it chronologically like we do. So basically, let's start with the small council. So the small council is currently made up of Mace Tyrell as Hand of the King and Randall Tarley as Master of Laws. I forget if the names of the roles have changed and changed back again, or if
mostly they've changed back. Yeah, he's kind of gone back. Yeah. Okay.
Paxter Redwine is Master of Ships or the Lord Admiral. He's absent because he's dealing with the Ironborn in the Westerlands, right? Basically, threatening the Reach, and so sort of a little bit of self-interest there from the.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
And on the other side.
We have Grand Maester Pycelle, who's basically a de facto Lannister.
Yes.
We have Harys Swyft, who is the Master of Coin and Kevin's good father. So
father-in-law, yeah.
Yes, put him on the Lannister side. And then the Lord Regent is Kevan Lannister himself.
Will Nymeria Sand have a specific role, or will she just
I'm sure she will, but I can't think of what it is.
The only role that seems to be missing to me is the Master of Whisperers. But
Qyburn is still the Master of Whisperers, but he's been kicked off of the small council.
I see. So right. So that's interesting. The small council roles aren't necessarily. Basically, you might have a role that has once been a member of the small council, but you don't necessarily get to be on the small council for having that role.
Right. Yeah. Depends on who's in charge, if they want you there or not.
If they burn all their ships, the Lord Admiral may no longer be a member of the small council.
Right.
The Grolio of this world.
Yeah. Was it any surprise that Mace had a giant hand-shaped throne ready the day that Kevan granted him office? It's not like it was a week later. It was the day that he granted him this office.
I'm desperate to sort of see it as sort of like in white plastic, you know, sort of like, you know, like the 70s things where you sat on a hand.
Yes. Like a big baseball glove that you just like. And it's also no surprise that he plans to rebuild the Tower of the Hand 2 times as tall, which Cersei thought Cersei got a kick out of.
Cersei did get a kick out of that. She thought he might be compensating for something.
but like you mentioned,
that moment, we didn't mention that in the summary, but that moment was where Kevan was like, oh, you know what, she's still in there, you know, she's subdued, but she's still herself, you know.
Yeah. But Lady Nymeria, Lady Nym, she's, like you said, she's coming to be the 7th member, and I just see her as a total agent of chaos because she wants the downfall of both the Lannisters and the Tyrells.
Right, especially if she's the deciding vote on things. You know, especially if this council were to stick around at 3 against 3, which right now is down to 3 against 1. So But if it were to be 3-3 and she was the 7th, then she would have so much power, so much influence. And she's a Sand. They're not known for their restraint.
No, they're not. And so how she ended up here is that Cersei invited Doran, Marcella, and Trystane to visit King's Landing. And that was what Balon Swan had brought a letter announcing, you know, with that invitation. And then when Doran had his family alone, he said, that's a ruse. my friends in King's Landing tell me that Trystane is to be killed en route, and it's to be blamed on Tyrion. And you remember in the feast, he says to Balon, "Why don't we take a ship?" And Balon kind of blanched, like, that's you can't do that. but
I like the thought of Balon's lips moving as he goes, "Well, I could throw him off, I suppose." Yeah, okay.
I wonder now, though, the friends in King's Landing, is that Varys? Now that we see now that we first of all know that Varys is in King's Landing, and we see that he's working against Cersei. He wants Cersei to succeed, but working against some of her plans.
But do his plans line up with protecting Tristan, though? Or is it just, this is good, let's get Nymeria here safely without any more upset?
Yeah, that's true. Because he wants the Martell support on Aegon's side.
Right.
So if he had just let the Lannisters kill Trystane, that would have driven Martell more toward Aegon's side.
Perhaps, yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if it...
Well, it sort of depends. It depends how much Doran Martell chooses to believe the story of Tyrion being to blame rather than... But since he was tipped off, he isn't going to believe it at all.
Right, yeah. That would... In a vacuum, had he not known, it's unknown how he would have responded to that.
So back to Red Ronnet Connington, who's here facing the small council. Can I just remind listeners, boo, because he was mean to Brienne of Tarth?
That he was, yeah. Jaime went upside his head with his golden hand for it too. So
yeah. So it seems a bit strange not to trust him. He does have a pretty strong interest in working against his uncle.
He's taking his castle from him. Right.
Made me wonder if this is a sign of the sort of insecurity felt by the people around this small council. That what is this news? Like, some imposter has landed claiming to be, and maybe he's got some sellswords with him, and he's led by a guy who has a name, but I would think if you were confident, you would be confident that Red Ronnet Connington would work for you and not defect to that side.
Yeah.
I think it's a sign that they are weak. This small council is weak, and they are nervous about everything, and they're jumping at shadows.
That makes sense.
Which also goes to what Kevan said later about Margaery's trial. That Margaery's trial has to happen because we can't dictate that she's innocent and offend the faith, offend the faithful, because one of these imposters will, embrace the faith to get those people on their side. So it's got to go through the channels. And Randall Tarley disagrees. He's like, we're in charge, we can do what we want. But he's the only one who's thinking that way. The rest of them are kind of like treading cautiously.
Yeah, that's all very true. The only de facto pretender or possible usurper that would really have the faith's support outside of Tommen would be Aegon, because the Iron Men, certainly, the Ironborn certainly aren't going to, and Stannis has fully embraced R'hllor.
True enough. Yeah, but Aegon, we don't know. Well, we know he's been raised by a scepter. So probably he can at least talk the talk, even if he doesn't walk the walk. So yeah, he definitely could. I just feel like the whole small council here, they're not actively being nervous, but their actions are those of people who are feeling like these dominoes could fall, and it would just take Red Ronnet Connington to switch sides for us all to be in trouble. It seems like a long shot, but that's how nervous they are.
Yeah, if I were Red Ronnet and so bold, I might remind Kevan that family members' actions are not necessarily one's own actions.
Touché.
Because it is similar but opposite relationship. Kevan's nephew killed the king, allegedly, and the Hand, Kevan's brother,
undoubtedly
Has Kevan faced any scrutiny for those actions?
Right.
I don't think so. So why are you pointing fingers at me, Kevan?
I will say the Martells do hold pretty much all Lannisters responsible for the death of Elia and the babies.
Yes, absolutely, they do. That is very true.
Just a point of order: they do call Jon Connington Red Ronnet Connington's uncle, but technically Red Ronnet is the son of Ronald, who is Jon's cousin. So they are, in fact, first cousins once removed.
Okay, good distinction. Yeah.
Marginal.
Yeah.
I found one thing I found very interesting about this chapter, just generally, is Kevan's concern about the power of the Tyrells on the small council, because it echoes Cersei's quite strongly, and we kind of discount Cersei for being a nutcase quite often, and we don't when Kevan thinks it. And it made me think: is there sort of a sexism here that you're kind of like, oh, the little lady's just making things up? When Kevan thinks it, it's like, oh, he's strategic and he sees the problems. And if we are being sexist, is it because George Martin is leading us to be sexist by portraying Cersei that way, you know?
Well, we've been in Cersei's head so often, and she is so often illogical. Most of her choices are vindictive, self-serving, poorly thought out, allowing the faith to rearm itself, foregoing payments to the Iron Bank. But Olenna, Mace's mother, told Sansa when we were in Sansa's head that Mace is pretty much a dumb oaf.
Yes.
But, that's not why Cersei rejected him. She probably would have actually liked that aspect, that he might be easily manipulated. She rejected him because she thought that he was working with Tyrion to kill Tywin. You remember Rugen's coin with the old Gardener King face on it? And that really sent her in a tailspin. And she also didn't want Margaery to have more power than her by appointing more Tyrells to the small council. But I think you must include you have no choice. You must include the Tyrells because you need the Reach's support like nothing else. And so Kevin's doing what he needs to do. He just has to be careful with the balance because it's becoming dangerous, because Mace Tyrell has already assigned 100 Highgarden men to the Gold Cloaks, and as we learn in this chapter, no such interest in even partially balancing that out with 20 Westermen, Gregor Clegane's.
In his defense on that one, though, those 20 Westermen, if they're Gregor Clegane's men, they need to go to the wall.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
They've committed crimes against humanity all across the Seven Kingdoms.
Yes. Plus, it'd be very convenient for Arya to put them all in one place when she can just wipe them all off her list.
My dreams have all come true.
Yeah.
But so that's the thing, you see, it's like there's legitimate motivations for Mace Tyrell's suggestions and ideas here, but they do, when you look at it through a certain lens, they do sort of like seem like power grab, that he's trying to cement his position. But you can argue he's making the right choices. I think those Westermen should be sent to the wall. I really do. It doesn't, not because I'm trying to make the Tyrells the dominant force in King's Landing, but just because they're monsters,
Absolutely. You could make that argument. It's not like he's saying, I will accept no Westermen. He's saying, I won't accept those Westermen, which you can't really fault him for. Yeah. But also the balance thing I was talking about, Mace and Randall Tarley both have armies in the city, and they're not leaving until Margaery is proven innocent. And that's a major imbalance of strength there.
It is, but I will again go to bat for them. They didn't accuse her of crimes that she didn't commit. That was Cersei Lannister did that.
Yeah. Fair point. Absolutely.
So now I'm going to contradict myself because
I was going to say the next thing
is contradiction.
That's okay. Well, we're discussing. We can contradict ourselves.
But if you do look at this through the other lens of they are trying to manipulate things, it does feel like every one of their actions and decisions is designed to push the needle towards them, to favor them in the power structure of King's Landing.
Yeah. Tyrell, so he's got these two armies here, and he's sacrificing the good of the realm for his own agenda.
And that's it. That's the key point. That's the key point. But at the same time, I can't blame him for rushing back to protect Margaery.
I can't either. But so there's two major issues, right? We've got Aegon and the sellswords in the south, but we also have the Ironborn sacking his own shield islands in the Reach. Mm-hmm. And he's keeping both armies here to keep pressure on making sure his little girl is found innocent. And as a dad, I mean, well, Mace wants Tommen to declare Margaery innocent and skip the trial altogether. And again, as a dad, I can understand that. I would want the threat to my child removed to take no chance that she could be found guilty, because when there's a trial, there's a chance. It might not be a strong chance, but as a dad, I wouldn't even want to take that chance.
Yeah, true enough.
But Kevan is right about that particular piece, about not letting Tommen just declare Margaery innocent, because if that's the case, if he did that, rumors will follow Margaery for a long time, if not forever. But if the men that accused her recant their confessions in public and she's exonerated in front of the public's eyes, that's a different story, possibly that might invoke sympathy from the masses that she's been so poorly treated and so badly accused of crimes that she didn't commit, that it might actually work in her favor in the long run.
Yeah, it's a tricky one because you could also, if this epilogue was Mace Tyrell's POV, he did not get killed, so that's not the case. He could see Kevan saying, no, she really needs to stand trial to clear her name. We can't afford to just have the king dictate this, as being the exact crime that Kevan is putting onto Mace Tyrell, of putting the good of their power over the good of the individuals on the other side.
Yeah.
Because you're right. There's
true.
A risk.
Yeah.
She could definitely get found guilty here for random reasons. I think of all the things that she's been accused of, there is a little bit of fire sort of lurking in it somewhere.
There is, and it's what Mace says after the Tyrell side, the two Reach men leave. Grand Maester Pycelle says, "Mace loves me not. I wouldn't have spoken of the Moon Tea, but Cersei commanded me." And so I went back and reread that because I wanted to make sure I knew how that conversation went between Cersei and Pycelle. When he divulged that he brings Margaery Moon Tea 4, that's all he gets out, she cuts him off and says, "I know what Moon Tea is for." And he never says. So then he admits in court that he provided her Moon Tea many times.
Nothing further.
Yeah, right. It's still unclear if the Moon Tea was for Margaery or for someone else.
Right. Or for a different reason. We talked about this when we talked about it, that you might be for period pains or whatever it might be.
Yeah, he did have an opportunity to explain here for her cousins or whomever or for whatever other purpose, and he didn't. But that doesn't mean one thing or the other.
It's not a good place to discuss the cold while we're out in it. Right. I'll see you later in your chambers. Varys is like,
would you let me finish my sentence?
You know what? Serve these guys just right if I die tonight.
No one will ever know what that was for.
I'm going to leave a cryptic message. The seed is strong and die.
Don't trust the perfumed seneschal.
That smell. So now they discuss the Targaryen pretender and the arrival of sellswords into Westeros. They got word of sellswords arriving, and they had believed that it was Stannis that was hiring the sellswords, but now they realize that it's Jon Connington and this fake Aegon, as they think of him. Kevan really doesn't know what to think about this Aegon situation, because he saw Rhaenys and Aegon's bodies. He knows they were dead. until being told that Aegon was back, he firmly believed that Aegon was dead. But when he thinks back to the situation, he's like, you know what? That was just a baby with its head bashed in. It could have been anyone.
We'll be right back.
This episode is sponsored by Audible. To get a free audiobook, or 2 if you're an Amazon Prime member, go to our exclusive URL, audibletrial.com/ghostsharrenhal. You can find the link in our show notes. Yeah, because Rhaenys was identifiable,
right?
But Aegon was not identifiable, and so it fits with the argument that Aegon is who he claims. Even an eyewitness can't say for sure that was definitely baby Aegon.
And clearly now suspects, like, oh boy, this could be true. You know, he didn't say it. And interestingly, at the end of the chapter, Varys, in his sort of like, you know, well, Mr. Bond, you've left upon your last door. He tells him, he doesn't say, and I'm going to get that fake Aegon made king.
Right.
He says, we rescued him and we raised him to be king. So Varys is sticking to the story, even to someone he does not believe will be a... To be fair, but do consider there were at least 3 children lurking in the shadows of that room who might have heard. Maybe they were the audience for Varys's talk.
Yeah, he did have one of those, Mr. Bond. Let me go on this long monologue before I kill you. But yeah, I thought the same thing. If he was going to say, well, no one will ever know that it's not the real Aegon, you know.
Kids,
because
fingers and
Kevan, right? Earmuffs. Meanwhile, Randyll Tarly wasn't even convinced that it's Jon Connington. Twice someone said Jon Connington, and he interrupted and said, if it is Connington. He did it 2 times. I was like, okay, we get it. You're not sure. Would you quit saying that every time someone mentions his name?
And he's brought the Golden Company, if it is the Golden Company. Could be any old sellswords.
But unlike Cersei, this council doesn't discount Dany and the dragon stories.
Right.
And they're actually at least trying to make plans to address the situation. It's all part of why Varys kills Kevan for undoing the queen's good work, as he said.
Yeah.
Because they're actually trying to take proactive steps here. It wouldn't be easy to make plans for 3 dragons, but it's better to at least try and think of something than to just discount it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a sea change, you know. It's sort of like the open-mindedness, which was completely absent when Cersei was there. It was, you know, mind was closed, inputs that didn't make any sense were discarded.
Right. That didn't fit her agenda.
Right, exactly, yeah. yeah, exactly. There was nothing to be gained from her thinking about Daenerys. But of course, I mean, the thing about it is that a lot of this is kind of like discounting stories of dragons because they don't make any sense. But they all know that dragons existed. It's not like ancient history. I mean, you might think that Bran the Builder didn't exist because that's thousands of years ago. You know, the wall could have just materialized for all you know. But the dragon skulls are lurking around. They've all seen them.
Right. Yeah, the history is not that long since the Dance of the Dragons.
Exactly. So they talk about the trials at this point, and then Cersei is, you know, Kevan announces that Cersei has got Robert Strong to be her champion. And everybody on the small council gets a little queasy at this point, because I think there's a general feeling that they have an idea who this might be, because he is monstrous and a bit weird in the sort of sense of maybe not human anymore. And that really leads you to a sort of reanimated corpse of Gregor Clegane would be the sort of logical conclusion of that.
They never specifically say that, but it's pretty clear that that's what at least Kevan is thinking, and he thinks to us. I'm pretty sure Mace Tyrell and Randyll Tarly think the same thing.
Right.
And some of the issues that you mentioned is that one of them, Meryn Trant, maybe has told them he's never seen the man eat or take off his armor. And I think Boris Blunt says he's never seen the man use the privy.
Right.
So, it's... And Kevan thinks, well, why would he? Dead men they don't have to eat or use the privy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. He thinks dead men don't need that. So there's no question where his thoughts are. Yeah.
And they laid the groundwork a bit with Qyburn's backstory, because he lost his maester's chain for shady work with necromancy. And we know under Cersei, he's been, in quotes, using people for something deep in the dungeons. So it's not like this is coming out of completely left field.
Right. I mean, Qyburn took care of the mortal remains of Gregor Clegane, and he has this history, and now this guy has arrived on the scene. It's like, okay.
Right. Can I just real quick mention that the Rosby inheritance gets a reference again here?
I remember. I remember thinking, at least that's one sentence that we can skip over in this discussion. I should have remembered who I was dealing with.
So it's just Grandmaster Pycelle says we should deal with the Rosby inheritance. There's been 6 claimants. Because the ever-coughing Lord Giles Rosby died, and it just keeps being dropped into casual conversation, and it feels like it's building towards something.
Yeah.
And along with these 6 claimants, we know that there's this mysteriously unnamed ward who is not of his blood. And we've discussed it before, so there's no need to drudge up theories now. I just hope we get the payoff someday, because there is smoke there, and I want to see what the fire is.
You know, when we get to spoilers, I know we don't have an awful lot in spoilers, you have to remind me of what the heck I'm forgetting here, because I don't remember who that ward might be.
Okay, yeah.
That sounds good.
All right.
So Cersei, after the small council dissolves, Kevan goes to visit Cersei. He thinks she is defanged. Her guards and handmaids are replaced with guards that Kevan has appointed. She's attended only by a scepter and 3 novices who are rotated, so they don't get any time to form a bond with her.
It kind of reminds me of the scene in X-Men when Magneto is in custody and all the precautions they have to take to make sure he doesn't escape.
Sounds about right, yes.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's going to be difficult for her to make any sort of machinations with those. But of course, by the end of this chapter, the world shifts so hugely that really she doesn't need to be making any plans. And in actual fact, because Varys is 100% correct about the finger pointing that's going to ensue, because the Tyrells have every reason to think that this was Cersei Lannister did this. And
Cersei already suspects the Tyrells of foul play.
Exactly.
So absolutely,
he's totally going to blame each other for it. And but this situation does give her some plausible deniability. It's like, how could I have orchestrated this? I can't get a word out of here. The only person who visits me was Kevan Lannister. Did he do it himself on my instructions?
Yeah, right. That is all true.
Kevan, will you take this note to my assassin?
Don't read it.
Don't read it.
Don't open it. It's personal business, so don't open it. Yeah.
And so, actually, I wanted to ask about Cersei. How much of a... I mean, she definitely... We don't often get Cersei as the non-POV character. So it's a bit strange to be in the room with her without knowing her thoughts. I think if we knew her thoughts, we'd have a very clear opinion of her, because her thoughts typically run to machinations and how everybody's crossing her, this kind of thing. But Kevan is pretty convinced that she's contrite about what this, and she could definitely be psychologically damaged by what's happened to her.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She does seem subdued, possibly broken. She is being very closely monitored. If she wins the trial by combat, do you think she gets the Regency back?
Well, that's a really good question. But
because the Tyrells won't want it. But for various sort of hierarchical reasons, she is the right choice.
Well, to your first part there about Cersei's behavior, I would love to be for this to have been her POV in Hear the Truth, because I bet it is significantly less kind and sweet than she is laying it on. She's playing her part well. She's dressing conservatively, self-deprecating, laughing about the rebuilding of the Tower of the Hand, saying things like a wise woman knows her place regarding Dorna Lannister, or Dorna Swyft Lannister, Kevin's wife, praying, smiling. She's kind and courteous. She's bathing 4 to 5 times a day, which is actually quite sad that she's so scarred by what she went through.
Yes, exactly. That doesn't feel like it's performative. That feels like she really wants to clean off the memory and the dirt of that walk.
Which is probably only adding to the level of viciousness that's going on in her head.
Possibly.
And she says, there's a line where she says, "I'm well served. The good Septa makes sure I say my prayers." And I can only imagine what her inner thoughts were when she was saying that, like, wait until I get my hands on that Septa.
I gotta say, I feel like George Martin is leaving it open, though. He's leaving it open so that her next POV is a changed woman, you know? I mean, she is a changed woman. There's no question about that. But how much change, you know?
Yes, I mean, she went through an incredibly traumatic experience. Yeah. I'm sure it changed her in some way. I guess I'm still thinking of the Cersei up to that walk. We'll see if we get a POV of her in Winds of Winter, how it's changed. But one thing we learn in this chapter is that her trial is in 5 days. And I was wondering, who will the Faith put up against Strong? And might it be Lancel Lannister that asks for the honor? He's the one that spoke against her. Might he champion his claims?
He's gonna lose.
I would say he's gonna lose.
I don't know how good Robert Strong is at fighting compared to Gregor Clegane, but he's going to be formidable. That much I know.
I wonder if Lancel will be like, I want to do it. Yeah, I spoke against her. That guy? Oh, actually, my back. See, I'm grieving about my father. I just, my head's not in it right now.
That reminds me, I think I might have told this story before. There was a famous incident in England where an English pop star did something to Michael Jackson. He sort of invaded the stage while Michael Jackson was performing, and Michael Jackson took him to court over it.
Okay.
And the guy was sort of protesting about Michael Jackson and sort of the stories that sort of circulated around Michael Jackson and sort of children. But he was kind of a famous guy and he had famous friends. And one of his famous friends was a very famous comedian in England who happened to be trained as a lawyer. And so sort of like as a sort of joke, he said, I'll be your lawyer in the trial. And apparently they got to the doors of the court and he saw Michael Jackson's fleet of lawyers coming in.
I bet, yeah.
And he went, oh no, I've changed my mind.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that might be Lancel's reaction.
She's innocent. Yeah. I don't even...
To the pain.
But we also get... We're in Kevin's head here, and he is thinking in a guilty fashion about Cersei's walk of atonement. And I reread him informing Cersei about it, and there was no mention of whose idea this was, only that the High Septon requires atonement, a walk. And now he's reassuring himself that he shouldn't feel guilty. Tywin would understand. Cersei brought it on herself. It sounds like he might have been the one who proposed the idea.
No, I don't think that's the case. My reading of it was that the High Septon demanded it, and Kevan didn't say no. That's what I think.
That could be. Yeah.
But I mean, either way, it's splitting hairs. He did let it happen for sure.
I felt like Kevan at least made it feel like it was the High Septon's idea.
Yeah.
But then this thought of guilt, and then him rethinking about how Tywin did the same thing to their father's last mistress, and he thought, you know what, this would really knock her down a peg. Cersei really needs to be
true,
humbled.
But at the same time, he can't have forgotten what happened to that lady. I mean, her experience was hideously traumatic as well.
Yeah.
Would he want that for his niece?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It's all true.
Okay,
but now to your other question.
What was my other question?
You asked.
A second regency.
Yes. Who would decide? And that's a good question. Like, with the regent dead, the king too young, does the hand decide?
Because the hand would not choose Cersei.
No, he would probably choose himself.
The king's mother would.
Yes. So we've got issues here because the Tyrells have this large force, and it seems like they have control of the gold cloaks, which is the things that Ned lacked when he tried to assume control over and lost over Cersei. I'm not sure who controls the gold cloaks. Osred Kettleblack was the commander of the gold cloaks under Cersei. He was removed and imprisoned and replaced by a guy named Humphrey Waters, and it just says that the small council promoted him. So I don't know if he has any allegiance either way. But Cersei does have the king's ear. And so, but the small council is decidedly Tyrell heavy with Graham Maester Pycelle and Kevan gone. So
yeah, but it could be the king's decision. I mean, that's the thing. And she definitely has Tommen's ear. Like, as soon as that news breaks, Tommen will be on her knee and she'll be like, I should be the regent. I should be the regent. I should be the regent.
Yeah, I don't know how much power the king that's not of age yet has and who is making these decisions. I mean, we saw Joffrey make decisions when his regents didn't support it. So
okay, so her second regency. There's two ways it could go. One is a more measured and thoughtful Cersei.
Yeah,
listening to the advice of her counselors, or a yet more vindictive and narrow-minded Cersei on a rampage of vengeance against those who've offended her. Yeah. I think she's going to go down path number 2 because that's just her nature. But it's so dangerous now. If she, for example, doubles down on the accusations against Margaery.
Yeah, right.
She's not going to survive. I mean, she's not going to survive.
If she starts to try and take revenge against the faith, that would be a huge mistake.
Yeah.
So many of the people she wants to take revenge against, she needs.
Right, exactly. I mean, and this has always been her problem. She's always fought against her allies more than against her foes.
Right. Yeah, very true.
She spends half her time plotting against her allies.
I think regardless of whether it's Mace Tyrell or Cersei Lannister who would take over the regency, they're both too self-focused at the moment to deal with Aegon. But at least Mace has Randall Tarley, who is undoubtedly an awful father, but does seem to be a rather capable military leader.
Right.
So maybe he will keep Mace, or at least take over focus. Let Mace do whatever Mace wants to focus on. He will stay focused on the threat of Aegon in the south.
Right. Except, and this is the thought experiment that I had as I was starting to think about this, if Cersei offends them, which seems likely if she does assume a second regency, the Reach generally is so important to Tommen's reign. Yeah. Way so important that if Cersei could think about it logically, she would actually kowtow to their every whim. But she can't think in those terms because she feels the loss of power. If she offends them, they could flip to Aegon's side.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
Not at all. I think it's almost certain she will offend them to the point where they flip to someone. Could be Stannis, could be anyone. But Aegon's is very interesting because all of a sudden then, Aegon has the Golden Company. It has tendrils out to Dawn that could come to fruition. He's got parts of the Stormlands. They might want to sort of end things with Stannis because he's been absent and a bit weird.
Right.
And now the Reach, I mean, that's an enormous amount of power that's being, and what do the Lannisters have in King's Landing? They have nothing.
Not right now. Yeah, they don't have an army or anything in King's Landing. And Kevan recalls in this epilogue that Highgarden originally was staunchly on the Targaryen side in Robert's rebellion.
Yeah.
And I could see it playing out if Cersei were somehow found guilty, Tommen removed as king, Margaery's marriage annulled with Tommen because it was under false pretenses or whatever, and Aegon agrees to marry Margaery.
Yeah, I mean, look at that.
I know he's supposed to be waiting for Daenerys, but, you got a chance to strike.
There's always the dragon has 3 heads thing.
That's right. You can just go to that.
I meant 2 guys, not 2 ladies. Tough.
Yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Even if Cersei is found innocent, as you said, she could start offending people left and right, and we could still end up in that same situation.
Yeah, she's not going to banish herself to Casterly Rock, even if she doesn't get the Regency. She's staying put.
Right. Yeah. Unless, like you said, she goes the first route, and no, I'm done with politics. That walk changed me.
Yeah.
It's,
Even if it's changed her, I just don't see her wanting no part of it. She definitely wants to be less public, but she didn't like the public anyway.
True. I wondered if spending so much time with sweet Tommen might have softened her a bit. Yeah, might have made her see what's important. That all this fighting and power is not what's most important. Her child is, or something like that.
But the other thing is,
conjecturing.
I mean, the small council, even if she does have the Regency, the small council is going to be pitted against her quite strongly, because she's lost Pycelle, who she offended all the time, but he remained loyal to the Lannisters throughout. And she lost Kevan as well. So that small council is now Harys Swyft. Is he your backbone on the council?
Right. Grand Maester Pycelle's death, it has, or could have, huge ramifications, both on the small council and in general in the King's Landing politics, because, like we were saying earlier, Pycelle was the consummate lapdog of the Lannisters. Yeah. Despite their mistreatment, Tyrion threw him in the black cells. Cersei threatened him all the time and commanded him to confess about Margaery and the Moon Tea. So, that's going to could play a big deal. Plus, I was thinking about that. I don't know how this will play out. It's probably not likely, but it's worth mentioning that Old Town is in the Reach.
Oh yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Would Mace have influence over the Grand Maester decision?
Who gets the Grand Maester nod? Exactly.
Yeah.
So to Varys, I kind of thought that his part in Tywin's death was incidental. He was helping Tyrion, and Tyrion did what he did. He was just helping a friend out. But now, with hindsight of what's just happened with Kevan, I now look back on that and think I'm a noob. I'm a rube. New to the city. A wild-eyed ingenue who knows nothing. Of course he wanted Tywin dead. He wanted Tywin dead. He wants Kevan dead. He wants everyone dead who isn't a lunatic who's going to ruin the Seven Kingdoms so that Aegon can come back. And I love your thought experiment of if the Tyrells could break away from Cersei, make peace with the Faith, get the marriage annulled, and then march off to hook up with Aegon. That's a great direction for the story, and I hope that
it would be.
Yeah.
Kevan was killed for undoing all the Queen's hard work, like you said.
And Tywin was killed for the same reason. I mean, Tywin was doing the same
absolutely.
thing.
Yeah. And in light of all that, Varys' effort in freeing Tyrion absolutely seems self-serving. We remember that Shae...
Tyrion was his cat's paw.
Right, yeah, he was.
He wasn't helping him. He was sending him to assassinate his father.
Shae, when she was brought into Tyrion's chambers, snuck by Varys, the only thing she saw was a Targaryen mosaic when she was smuggled in. And then when Varys is smuggling Tyrion out of his cell, a random brazier is lit in that mosaic chamber. Tyrion knows that of the ladder right there, takes you up to the Hand's rooms. And I even wondered if Varys helped or created the plan so that the timing of Jaime freeing Tyrion and Varys smuggling Tyrion out was timed with Shay being in Tywin's chambers.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Not pure coincidence.
Right, exactly. Because the last thing you'd want him to do is go up there and make peace, or at least say, I'm finished with you, and leave. What you really need is one final cherry on top of the reason I'm going to kill you, Dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But Varys describes an ideal king, trained in arms, history, languages, faith, law. He's lived amongst the small folk. He understands the hardship of the commoners. And he's taught that ruling is his duty, not his birthright.
Yeah, high praise. But
suddenly I want Aegon to be king.
Yeah, from what we saw, the stats are fairly accurate. He seemed like a good young man when we were around him. And undoubtedly well-rounded training. We saw him getting it all. But he's human. He won't be perfect. And he's also still young and impressionable. He chose to sail for Westeros without Dany on Tyrion's suggestion. Tyrion planted that idea in his head and he acted on it. And he's the one that he insists on leading the assault on Storm's End, even though that could end their cause right there if something happened to him. Yeah. And you just never know what happens when someone when they get ultimate power.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point. Yes, it can change them. Not necessarily as much as Daenerys in the TV show, but yeah.
Right. You mean not just snap like that?
Exactly, not just snap like that. Right. All right, excellent. I think we're done there. What a chapter! What a chapter!
Wow, what a series! What a book!
Yeah. I mean. That's the other thing. We talk about how much, the listeners have kept us going, but actually it is an enjoyable reread, to see all this again, especially for someone like me who basically doesn't remember the first read. So,
Yeah, right. It's all new and fresh.
Yeah. Almost every time you gave a spoiler, I was like, no. I remember when you first spoiled that Kevan was going to die. I was like, Kevan dies? I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Here we are.
That's why I only put the questions on our sheet, and I have a notepad of my own with the answers. Yes, so I could get your true reaction. It's always been
excellent,
a lot of fun.
I did wonder about that. I wondered how you were doing all that off the cuff. Yes, you have your own ways.
I don't want you reading ahead of time. I wanted to see you react to my news.
All right. Despite the fact you've heard it all, though, we still have a spoiler section. And you only get the spoiler section if you join us at the upper levels of the Buy Me a Coffee Sustainer tiers. We're going to keep them going. If you sign up, you'll get all the back spoilers. You can hear how accurate or inaccurate we were along the way.
Right.
All right. How about some final background?
Okay. Well, so there wasn't much in the way of background options here in this epilogue. But the small council met at the foot of the Iron Throne, and Kevan thought of the Mad King sitting on it bleeding from a fresh new cut. Plus, it's the central object being fought over in this series, so it seems only fitting that we talk a bit about the Iron Throne today. I know we've talked a little bit about it in the past, but it's been a while and options were limited, so just going to have to go with me here. So, according to the songs, the Iron Throne was formed from 1,000 swords of King Aegon's enemies. Many from the Field of Fire, the definitive battle in his conquering of Westeros. The fire used to form the throne came from Balerion the Black Dread himself. I'm talking the dragon, not the cat, who also got a reference in this chapter.
He did get a reference, yeah.
The throne was originally placed in the Aegon fort, the king's original seat. When the fort was ripped down to construct the Red Keep, the throne remained where it was and construction went up around it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty neat. The seat is intentionally very uncomfortable. Because of the way the blades curve, you can't even sit back on the seat, and Aegon designed it that way as a reminder that a king should never rest easy. Now, Kevan envisioned
you know what?
King
I like to
Harys.
think
Yeah.
that Aegon had a specific spot where he could nestle in,
Right.
and none of the subsequent rulers ever found it.
He had just the perfect kind of pillows that the blades couldn't quite penetrate.
With like arrow sort of points just right next to his eyeballs, but he was totally safe.
Yeah, it was perfectly custom to his
Exactly.
body. So Kevan envisioned King Aerys, the Mad King, sitting with a new cut. And that was a major issue for King Scab, as he was called, probably not to his face. But he wasn't alone because the throne was dangerous. King Viserys I cut his hand to the bone on the throne. Another king, who I shall not name for House of the Dragon spoilers reasons, was known to have cuts all over their legs from the throne. But the worst incident of the throne exacting a toll on its occupant was when King Maegor the Misunderstood was found dead on the throne, his arm slashed open and a blade through his neck. It's said that the throne would accept or reject the ruler who sat it.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go.
I think someone had it in for Maegor the Misunderstood.
That's
not necessarily the throne. Comparison with the television show, Kevan does not die at Varys' hand. For a while, there are vying small councils, one with Kevan, Olenna Tyrell, Mace Tyrell, Pycelle, the other with Cersei, Jaime, and Robert Strong, which probably wasn't contributing much to the conversation.
Yeah, what do you even have him there for? But boy, could he play a good banjo.
So the first of those would be in the small council room, and then the second group would arrive, and the first group would leave, and then they would sit down and have their own little chit-chat.
Really? I didn't remember that.
The TV show simply referred to Robert Strong as Gregor, so they didn't make any bones about who it was.
Right.
Pedantry Corner? Oh,
it's just,
we joked about this as we went, I've realized.
It's a small thing, but Kevan says that the White Ravens have only one role, and that's to herald the change of seasons, which feels like an awful lot of downtime for these ravens, like generationally.
Yes, generations.
I don't know how.
Yes,
I don't know how. I know ravens can live probably about 20 years or so. I'm not quite sure. Maybe 10, something like that. I remember looking it up once, but that just feels like what are you keeping you still have to send out birds to all the various places. So you've got to keep them all around for like 10 years. They're just sitting there doing nothing. I just thought that feels like an awful lot of effort just to be able to send out a white raven when the seasons change.
Yeah. I mean, you can't paint them because they need their feathers. So
right.
You're right, though. There's a lot of effort goes into maintaining a stock of white ravens that you use for nothing else other than...
Yes. Couldn't you just put a note on a black raven and send... Or use white ravens as well, just to do tasks?
Yeah. If it arrives without a note, that's the change of season. Yeah.
or if it arrives with a foot of snow, that's the change of the season.
If a black raven arrives covered in white stuff, that's a sign that winter is coming.
Right.
All right, news and notes.
Well, so this is just a quick reminder that we will be having a live talk and Q&A on our Discord server on Tuesday, June 30th at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, US, Canada. And if you won't be able to make it and you plan to watch the video later, but you want to ask a question, send it in now. You can text us. The link is at the top of every episode show notes. You know that. I say it at the end of every episode. Just please be sure to include your name because the text doesn't come in with a name. Or you can send us an email, ghost.heronhall@gmail.com, or message us on social media, however you want to submit your question. We don't want to exclude anybody. So if you're not going to be able to be there and you have a burning question, send it in.
Good. Just a massive thank you to everyone who's joined us on this journey. We really enjoyed these books, like I said, but there's no way we'd have done this for 6 years.
Oh, absolutely not.
Without the support and interactions we've had from you, the listeners. You've hauled us up on our mistakes, always amused and amusingly. You've tolerated our attempts at humour. You've provided analysis and insight that put our own to shame. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better. Yeah. And I'm not going to say much more because I'm going to try and hold it together in this episode. So. But yes, thank you all so much. I'm going to leave it at that. You said it perfectly.
We'll be taking the summer off. It's mid-June now, so at least a month or so. We're going to step back and assess where we go from here. Stay tuned for updates. We'll let you know when we're ready for a new challenge.
That's right.
All right. So let's conclude.
Shall we do it? One final conclusion?
Yeah. So the chapter conclusion, it's never the most dramatic part of any chapter where it gets mentioned, but the financial troubles of the Iron Throne are huge and possibly fatal to those who currently sit it. That's the one thing about this, though, is the situation in Westeros is so fluid that the Iron Bank may not know who to, get their revenge on.
Yeah. The debt could be crippling. Back in a Game of Thrones, I looked it up. It was 6 million plus,
That's what
more
I
than
remember.
6 million
6
golden
million.
dragons. And Kevin points out they can't raise taxes with rebellions everywhere because the other
rebellion.
lords, they tried Mirish bankers, no response. Kevin said try Pentashi magisters. Good luck with that with Illyrio Mopatis on Aegon's side.
Right.
He thinks that he might need to pay the debt with Lannister gold, but so much of the debt, this also came from that Game of Thrones discussion, so much of the debt is already to the Lannisters and Tyrells, so I guess he could forgive the debt, but they're already broke. They need money. Forgiving the debt isn't going to cut it,
Yeah. And you got to wonder where all this money has gone. I mean, I know that Peter Baelish was skimming off more than a skim, but this is an enormous amount of money.
Yeah, they blame it. Initially, they blame it on Robert's love of tournaments and pageantry and stuff like that.
But the money went into circulation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It went into circulation. It should be floating around and should be, like you said, regainable through taxation, potentially. But it feels like nobody's got this money. Possibly
part of the issue is that who you're taxing in the Riverlands right now. It's been devastated. There's, who's going around collecting taxes from the people in the Riverlands.
Yeah, the wealthiest are the Tyrells, of course, but it's hard to imagine the small council levying a huge tax against the Tyrells to pay off the Lannisters' debts.
Yes, and the Lannisters, so it might come down to Lannister gold. They're the ones with all the gold, so maybe that's where Cersei will have. I don't know how it's going to go now that Kevin's dead. So
so the small council is, was already tricky for the Lannisters, and now with the loss of both Pycelle and Kevan, that's even more tricky. And as we discussed, Pycelle could be replaced quite easily by a Tyrell loyalist, or at least I think the Tyrells would be subtler than that, but at the same time, somebody who they could lean on to take their side in certain situations.
Yeah, like we said, Grand Maester Pycelle was a de facto Lannister on the small council. Yeah. He was old and pretty much a creep, but he was the only one willing to give Cersei wise counsel when she had her smallest council. Right. So for that much, you got to give him some credit.
Yeah, true.
Possibly a new, younger, more progressive Grand Maester would help soothe the chaos, but like you said, it feels like there's going to be some influence from somewhere on who gets nominated.
Yeah, that's a very good point, actually. It could be, like you said, if the new Grand Maester is younger and a bit more dynamic and doesn't have the history of animosity that everybody else on the small council is going to feel towards Cersei, he could be a bridge, to keep things going. They're going to need it. Kevin believes that Cersei's been defanged, but it looks like we're going to get a very good opportunity to find out if that's true.
Yeah, we've been in her POV for so many interactions with Sansa, Felice Stokeworth, and her husband, Balman Birch. She can pour on the sweetness. We never even knew how she felt truly felt about Tyanna Merryweather.
Yeah.
But personally, I think she is seething and screaming for revenge on the inside.
Yeah.
So I foresee a Mace Tyrell, Cersei Lannister showdown. Like we said, she's got the king's ear. He's got the only army. And I think he's got a good portion of the gold cloaks in his control as well.
And on the more global scale, Varys does appear to have given his Aegon the opportunity that he might need to succeed. I mean, he's created now the situation that was required.
Yeah.
And I mean, he hasn't even, he's just thrown a wrench into the works, which will probably work out in Aegon's favor because Cersei will reascend to a higher level of power and then break things as she does.
Every moment the small council spends in fighting is a win for Aegon.
Right. True enough. And the thing is, I think the infighting will only last a short length of time before it will become real fighting.
Right. Yeah.
And Tarly and Tyrell will leave and change sides. That's how I think it'll go.
Yeah, that would be really fascinating to see. Now we'll see how accurate Illyrio Mopatis and Viserys were when they said very early, I think Dany's first POV in a Game of Thrones, that so many lords are waiting to rally around the dragon.
Right.
You know.
Well,
so,
you know
possibly
what? I don't know if that was true at the time, but I bet it's true now. I mean, I bet there's plenty of people unhappy with the state of the realm now.
Exactly. Enough dysfunction around the Lannister / Baratheon king and prefer the Targaryens in general.
Yeah. So let's summarize where the whole story is, not just the epilogue.
Let's do that.
But so Bran was last seen with the Green Seer north of the Wall.
Yeah, he was messing with Theon a bit, speaking
messing
through
with Theon,
the weirwood in Winterfell.
And,
now, I hope I
also
got
traveling through time, it seemed.
Yes, that's right. He was. Yeah, you're right. Traveling back in time. I hope this is a complete list. There might be a storyline missing or two, but we have so many.
Here we do.
We have Arya in the House of Black and White. She's been given an acolyte's robe. That's where things ended here with her. So.
Sansa and Littlefinger, almost forgotten, but they're in the Vale. They've just come down from the Eyrie.
Yeah.
And she met a kid that we think that Littlefinger might be planning to marry her off to.
Littlefinger, he told her he plans to marry her to Harold Harding, Harry the heir, who's heir to Robert Arryn. So that will be fun to see where that goes.
Yeah.
Now we've got Jon. He's dead.
Okay, we can move on from that one.
He was the only thing holding the tenuous relationship between the Free Folk, the Night's Watch, and the Queen's Men together. And that's just going to be an absolute mess up there now.
Sam and Gilly.
And is he going to stay dead? Is Jon dead? Is Jon Snow dead like Kevan and Grand Maester Pycelle?
I've watched the TV show. I think there's life in that old dog yet. Sam and Gilly are in Old Town, where they haven't met up with Pate's friends, but they may.
They did meet Pate, so...
Oh, they did meet Pate, that's right.
Yeah, that's
right.
I
thought Pate was dead.
We thought.
Wait a minute.
And then suddenly he wasn't. Yeah. Maybe Sam will be back in Castle Black in a decade or so, however long it takes to complete a Maester's chain, unless he's going to do it in record time. Davos, he's been sent to Skagos to find Rickon, and if he's successful, Wyman Manderley has pledged to support Stannis.
Yep.
So
Theon and Asha Greyjoy have had their reunion in the blizzard outside of Winterfell.
They've also got Jane / fake Arya.
Jane, yes.
And Ramsay wants both Theon and Jane back.
Yep.
So, and then Victarion and the Iron Fleet are sailing through Slaver's Bay to Dany, to Meereen. Maybe they're pointing in one direction and sailing in the other. It's unclear.
I love the fact we're doing all the old hits as we go through.
Yeah, we have to. That's right. We got Maegor the Misunderstood.
I can't believe we just mentioned Rickon without going who.
We missed a last chance there.
Euron is wreaking havoc in the Reach, but we know now he's about to be beset by the Red Wine Fleet.
Yeah, and that's a big fleet. So,
yeah, because he doesn't have that much left, right? The majority of the Iron Fleet was sent east.
He sent the Iron Fleet east, yeah.
Sorry, the entire Iron Fleet, but that doesn't leave him with a lot of ships, is what I mean.
Right, yeah. Jaime and Brienne disappeared in the Riverlands en route to Lady Stoneheart, it appears.
Well, we believe.
Will Brienne go through with it and get Jaime killed? I don't know.
Cersei went through the Walk of Shame, has had her claws removed, and is a changed woman. We'll see.
We'll see. Might we get round 2 of Queen Regent? And will it go as badly as we're imagining that it might go?
I think it'll go worse.
Jon Connington / young Griff Aegon are at Griffin's Roost with eyes on Storm's End. This is the first possible Targaryen back on Westerosi soil. Yeah. Will the realm rally around him like we were told they might?
He doesn't have the dragons, which makes him which would make him more convincing.
That is very true.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Doran Martell is planning and scheming to bring down the Lannisters. He is as yet unaware of the death of his son Quentyn at the hands of the dragons. So we don't know how that's going to affect his worldview. Yeah.
He sent Lady Nym to the small council, and she's going to be... I mean, it's a powder keg. Wait till she gets there. That's going to be some fireworks, I feel.
Yeah.
Tyrion, Penny, and Jorah, they escaped slavery and have joined the Second Sons and currently are outside of the gates of Meereen. I have to imagine they're going to meet up with Barristan at some point here. It feels like those storylines have to converge at some point.
Yeah. Barristan, as you mentioned, is the de facto ruler in Meereen, but the Yunkai have rejoined their war against the Meereenese, or they were just sending the hostages back quickly.
Yeah, that's right.
We thought you'd catch them.
Dany is lost in the Dothraki Sea and found by an assumed foe in Khal Jocko. That could be bad news, except for that she's standing next to a fire-breathing dragon.
True enough.
So, but she did, when she hopped on to Drogon's back, she said, to go forward, I must go back. So it sounds like there's got to be some involvement here.
Dothrak.
Yeah, something. It feels like it anyway. And finally, according to that white raven, winter is here.
Yeah.
So hopefully we get some wins from the winter soon.
Eventually.
We can, yeah.
All right. So you got some data. I like data.
Yeah, it was just one thing I looked up. We're on episode 344 of our chapter-by-chapter book review of A Song of Ice and Fire by George R.R. Martin. And I wanted to see how many weeks have there been since our first episode, which was on October 7th of 2019.
And the answer?
349
weeks. We almost did one a week.
Yeah.
We came really close to doing one a week.
Now, that 344 doesn't include our special episodes.
Special episodes.
Like
so
our,
almost one a week. Wow, that's incredible.
So for 6 3/4 years, almost to the day.
Yeah.
So, I was just curious about that. I thought I'd share here at the end of this episode. And
so you've got a list of things that have changed since then. Yeah, your kid grew up the most, I think.
my littlest one.
Yeah, Molly.
Yeah, she.
Do you remember when she interviewed us for the 50th episode?
When I see that little face,
I know,
with her little headset. Oh my gosh,
she's just a big grown up now.
I know. Tell me about it. She was 13 and Ethan was 19. Lucas was 15. He's 4 years younger than Ethan. He would have been
15. Yeah, he would have just been about to turn 16 when we started.
Yeah, so we've had high school and college graduations. We've both reached major age milestones.
Mine was so long ago, I barely remember it.
and we survived a pandemic, I believe.
Which actually helped our recording, because we learned how to record separately, and it's become much easier for us to do this.
I don't know that we would have survived if we had to
schlep
together.
To each other. Yeah.
And also, might I remind you, the Athletic have been promoted, and one of our teams won a championship in the
God, who would have thought
duration.
that either of those things would be me, really?
Well, I just hope the future listeners are wondering why we're making such a big deal about the end
this
of A Dance
episode,
with
just
Dragons.
before they
Yes.
listen to the next episode, yeah?
Yes, exactly. So,
Yeah.
but
If there's another episode waiting in the traps, just skip over all this.
this is right. Yeah. This is all just nostalgic nonsense at that point. But I just wanted to say one thing I'm going to miss. I was thinking about, like I've interacted with some of our listeners over social media, and I've said that we haven't really had a chance to pick our heads up because the grind of the week preparing the episode doesn't change.
Yeah.
And so this week we were working absolutely
Especially
as hard
because
as
of
every
this
other
chapter.
week.
It was a beast.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He couldn't have given us a nice little 6-page episode, or 6-page chapter. And so I was thinking about all what I'm going to miss starting tomorrow. And one thing I'm going to miss is Roy Dotrice. He's been a constant companion of mine for the better part of a decade. And I've listened to the chapter probably 4 times this week. And when he says, the first time, especially when he said, I hope you've enjoyed this production of A Dance with Dragons, and I felt this profound sadness mixed with this sense of accomplishment. And it's so sad because like the little chapter marker just said the end.
Right.
Yeah. But it's not the end. It can't be the end. So, but I just want to thank you. I strong-armed you kind of into starting this whole thing. I just kept pushing and pushing. And we both had ebbs and flows and energy and focus throughout the journey. And you helped pull me through when the energy was low. And I just want to say, we did it, my friend.
Yeah, we did. We did
it. And thank you.
Yeah, and thanks to you too. I mean, like you said, I mean, and I think the listeners know this. You are the driving force of this thing. This never ever would have happened without you. And that's true almost entirely week to week as well. You put in more effort than me every single week. That being said, I don't know if I'm going to miss it, but it is the structure of my week.
Yeah,
I mean,
me too.
We spend the weekends reading and making notes and editing the previous episode.
Yeah.
And then we spend the middle of the week recording this thing. My week is designed around the podcast.
Absolutely.
And so it's going to be
every
a
day.
Strange thing. It's going to be like retiring.
Kind of. I've kind of been thinking about that in the same way, except for when you're retiring, you're usually giving off all your work, and it gets less and less work. This has been the same amount of work all the way up to right now,
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. Our weeks are scheduled. Wednesday we record. Thursday we get a little bit of a break. Friday start editing. Saturday's editing. Sunday's editing and publishing and scheduling and all that. Monday we're preparing. Tuesday preparing. Wednesday we record again. Week after week. So, but there's no one I would have rather taken this journey with beside you. So
thank you. That's very kind. You're a good guy, Mackelly, and I'm not, and I think we all know this.
Yes, you are. You are too.
but I sacrificed the not being nice to be kind of funny at times. and this is why we work, especially because you're willing to laugh at my funny. That's whenever Carson listens in, which she doesn't choose to, but she sometimes overhears. She's like, "Man, he's such a good audience for you." I was like, that's why we get along.
Well, hopefully our audience is a good audience for us as well. And of course, we'd be remiss without a shout out to our first fan, who then became a collaborator, artist in residence, co-host sometimes on short notice, Discord diva, and of course, friend, the one and only Jenny of Old Stones.
Yes, thank you, Jenny. We would not be here without you. Well, we might be here, but not for a few more weeks.
Yes, that 344 episodes at 349 weeks
would not have happened.
No.
Yeah, thanks a million, Jenny. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jenny.
All right, well, next up, we have an aching void at the center of our beings for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Just
stay tuned. We'll let you know.
Yeah, that's right.
There's 4 ways that you could help us. You could leave us 5-star rating and a positive review. They still help our numbers. Don't resist.
Absolutely.
You could buy us a cup of Arbor Gold or become a sustainer. There'll still be advantages to being a sustainer, not least the spoilers. At buymeacoffee.com/ghostsharrenhal. There is a tier to match your budget and your interest. You can buy merchandise from our store, ghostsofharrenhal.threadless.com, or you can make a donation directly to our cause through our website, ghostsofharrenhal.buzzsprout.com.
And if you're looking for more ways to interact with us, well, you can always send us a text. The link is at the top of every episode show notes. And don't forget, you can get your questions in for our Q&A coming up. Just please keep in mind we don't have any means of responding, but we do enjoy reading them very much. And if you're interested in keeping up on the latest Ghosts of Harrenhal news and developments, especially if you want to see where we're going next, you can check us out on our social media. You can follow us on Twitter at Ghost Harrenhal. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, and YouTube.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you so very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.